Punishment. Punishment following a criminal conviction. Well, what kind of punishment can be imposed? That brings us to this week's video blog. Involves a judge in Ohio, Michael Cicconetti. And the good judge there was known for handing out unusual forms of punishment. Let's take some examples. A woman, Diane Gaston. Diane had used some pepper spray in assaulting someone. She was then found guilty of criminal assault, and when she was sentenced, the good judge gave her two options. She could either spend 30 days in jail, or she could come into courtroom and be sprayed with pepper spray. Well, she opted to be sprayed with pepper spray. So she came into the courtroom, canister was produced, she was sprayed, it turned out to be water. She was sprayed with the water because it was a canister that was used for practice purposes by the police department. Nonetheless, she was sprayed, and that brought an end to her case. The punishment was imposed. It's over and done with. Another case, a woman who had taken a ride in a taxi. After the ride of over 30 miles, she did not pay the taxi driver. Criminal charges were brought. The judge, once again, when she was found guilty, offered her one of two options. She could spend 30 days in jail, or she could walk 30 miles at a county fair. Well, she opted to walk the 30 miles at a county fair, and for anybody who wanted to watch her walking this 30 miles at the county fair, they were welcome to do that. Okay, so some people may ask, how can this happen? Don't we have the Eighth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and doesn't the Eighth Amendment prevent cruel and unusual punishment? And these are unusual pieces of punishment. How can this happen? Well, it can happen because if someone who has been convicted of a crime is given an option of traditional punishment or a little bit of an unusual punishment, and they opt to choose the unusual punishment, they can do so if they do so volitionally, and in doing so, they have waived the protection of the Eighth Amendment. So what do we learn from this? We learn something very, very important, and that is you can waive your constitutional guarantees and protections. In this instance, we saw two women who waived their protection against cruel and unusual punishment. People can also waive their Fourth Amendment protections against unlawful searches and seizures when they give police permission to search their apartment, their homes, their cars. So you can waive your constitutional rights, and you need to be careful because in some instances you may not wish to do that. In other instances, you may find that something a little unusual in the form of punishment really isn't all that bad, and you just as soon waive your rights. Okay. We bring you this cases, we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.